Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Indie Zone podcast. My name is Kathy. As you are aware, we have been monitoring the court docket in Idaho versus Kohberger and reporting back to you the status of the unsealing of the case. You will recall that when Mr. Kohberger pled guilty as he did over 6 months ago, the trial that was scheduled to happen in August, when the public understood that finally all of the information that had been under seal from public disclosure in this highly sealed case would finally be brought into a public arena, Judge Stephen J. Hippler's courtroom, where a jury would consider whether or not the evidence that the state of Idaho said that they had that would prove Mr. Kohberger's guilt beyond a reasonable doubt in this capital case would effectively finally be unsealed to the public. In a case that went on for over 2.5 years until that change of plea hearing happened, with so many documents under seal, with the evidence largely under seal, with a gag order that was put into place day 4 of the case and was not rescinded until after Mr. Kohberger pled guilty, and where there were so many hearings that were closed to the public. Finally, at the trial, the public understood that all of these barriers to public disclosure would finally be lifted. That, of course, didn't happen because of Mr. Kohberger's change of plea. He was sentenced on July 23rd, and the case was deemed closed. And then Judge Hippler announced a process by which he would be looking from the end of the case backward to the beginning of the case and making decisions on which documents would be sealed to the public or would be unsealed with or without redactions. The first court order dealt with June and July of 2025. After both sides were asked for their objections or non-objections to the unsealing of the documents listed within the first court order, a decision was made within 30 days, and soon after that, documents began being released to the public. As to the second court order, which dealt with the months of April and May of 2025, after the parties were given an opportunity to provide their objections or non-objections, after 36 days from the issuance of that second order relative to under seal documents from April and May of 2025, a decision was made, and the documents shortly thereafter began popping up on the docket. Now, for some reason, it took from October 16th, when the third court order was issued, with, again, the court asking both sides this time to documents under seal from January, February, and March of 2025 to provide their objections or non-objections. It was not until December 18th, 2025, well over 2 months since the October 16th order was issued, that the court finally made a decision. It hit the public docket, and it stated that there were dozens upon dozens of documents that should be released to the public because the court could not find any further reason to continue to seal this information from the public. Some of those documents were to be released with absolutely no redactions. Others were to be released with redactions. On the 30th of December, there were a few documents from the end of March that were released, but then after just a few hours on the public docket, they disappeared. They were taken down with no explanation as to what had happened and why. And it's been now another week that's gone by. Those documents have not been returned for public disclosure on the docket, and there's no explanation as to what happened on the 30th of December, nor is there any explanation or details as to when the public will finally be able to review the documents that Judge Hippler ordered to be unsealed nearly 3 weeks ago will be published. We're going to continue to monitor the situation, and if and when those documents ordered to be unsealed nearly 3 weeks ago hit the public docket, we will, of course, advise you. So please stay tuned to the Indie Zone podcast of Idaho versus Kohberger. Until next time, this is Kathy. Thank you for joining us here today.